There's so much abundance on there,
Right.
that's in space with all these planets. Like God is the infinite creator of infinite everything infinite. You know what I mean? So it's
Yep.
like I shouldn't place any type of restrictions just because someone defined, made
Right.
some definition of something.
Right. Right. Those that's one thing that gets me is like we forget that, and not to discredit anybody's stuff. And I think I may even stop apologizing for this because this is the truth. Men wrote all books. There is no book on the face of the earth that grew out of the ground
Yeah.
or that fell out of the sky. Like even if it was inspired by whoever or whatever, it was written by a man or a woman. Point blank period. And so I know people in my physical world that I wouldn't just take their word for what they're saying. So you mean to tell me I'm supposed to take the words of somebody else that I haven't met? I just take their word for it? Um, and that's what that for me. I grew up very religious. I grew up. We wasn't forced to really go to church, but we had it was all around us. It was like very, you know, it was just preached all the time. And it became bad for you to be successful. If you had a lot of money, then you must have did something wrong to a lot of people. Money was the root of all
Not giving
evil.
enough to the church.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You think you're a big shot, all of those things that we were told as kids or that we saw people say about other adults as kids. And it just taught us to be fearful and live in poverty and just to be limited. And I said, you know what, man? And here's the thing. The most this is the crazy part. So when I tell my story, people ask me, when you changed your life, you must have given your life over to the church. You must be. And I said, no, it was the opposite. When I was the most depressed and destructive I've ever been in my life, I operated from the mindset of religion. When I let it go, I became a completely different person. And the reason why is because, and I'm not blaming anything, but I was taught that your life was already kind of mapped out and that everything that happened to you was already planned anyway. So my mind was, hell, if it's already planned, why even try? I'm supposed to go down this bad road then. Like it's already mapped out for me. Like, so I justified my actions by saying, God let that happen or God made that happen
Mm.
it didn't give me any authority over my own existence. And so when I stopped thinking that way, I took control. I stopped. I jumped behind the driver's seat of my own life, and I'm like, okay, where would I drive if I could steer myself any direction I wanted to go? Okay, I'll go over here. I'm not being a rapper anymore because that's not who I am. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go meditate. I'm gonna go be a spiritual guru. I'm gonna build online businesses. I'm gonna speak at universities. Last year I told myself, um no, it wasn't even last year. Dang, time goes by fast.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, beginning of last year I told myself I'm gonna be in a movie. I never acted a day in my life. I guess we all are actors though. We are all acting. And I guess every day I'm acting every day. We are
Every day is
actors,
acting.
right? So I told myself, I'm like, I'm gonna be an actor. I'm gonna be in a movie. Had no idea how that was gonna happen. No, this was not even a year ago. This was like 3 years ago. Okay, told myself I'm gonna be in a movie. Had no idea. One day, my neighbor, who was a good friend of mine at the time, he was an older man, probably in his late 70s. Okay,
Hmm.
Robbie, we're gonna sell the house. I said, why? Well, we're getting older and we're downsizing and we're having health issues and we just don't need this house anymore. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like sad that they're leaving. And I'm also like, who's gonna move next door? Well, some guy bought it already. I'm like, who? Well, his name is Don Morgan, and he's been in a lot of Marvel movies. And I'm like, okay, So then me and Don meet, and we become friends instantly. And then the pandemic happens, and then the Hollywood strike happens, and then
Mm.
the actors are out of work, and then a lot of actors are like, well, I'm going to start my own movie production company. And Don was one of those people. And he's like, hey, we're starting our own movie production company. Will you help us structure it and market it and and get it funded? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I have a background in marketing. And so just hanging around those guys, hey, would you like to come to a table read tonight? I'm like, yeah. And then all of a sudden I'm meeting one of the creators of Ninja Turtles who's I'm reading for and And then it gets even weirder. This is the power of the mind. It gets even weirder. I write down, um, that was nice. Now I want a speaking role in a movie. I go to my office one day and there's another movie production company moving into the same building. And we strike up a friendship very quickly. Maybe a week or two into it, um, I find that I have a lot of clients that would benefit from their services. And so I would walk some of my clients down to their office and introduce them. And so one day I passed by their office and they're just like, Robbie, you're amazing. Our connection is powerful. And I said, yes, it's a match made in heaven. And she says, what did you just say? I said, it's a match made in heaven, our connection. And she says, that is so wild. I say, why? She says, fresh off the printer, we just printed out the movie script for a movie called Match Made in Heaven. And I'm thinking that I'm not surprised. I always find it funny how these things happen, but I'm not surprised because we're on a ball in the middle of the universe hurling through space. If that's not surprising, I'm not surprised by this. Um, and then 2 days later, they asked me if I wanted a role in the movie. So I got to without whatever you do, rehearsing, auditioning, or they didn't know if I could act or not. They gave me a speaking role in the movie. And so that's the power of the mind. If we have the ability to just be bold and admit what you want, for my spiritual people out there, I'm like, I was in a group yesterday. I said, y'all got to admit that y'all want some money. And they're just like, they're just really quiet. I'm like, I said, it's okay for you to get paid. Like, money is just an idea. It's not evil. Like,
Yeah.
sure, people do some evil things for money a lot of times, sometimes. But money itself is not the bad guy. Like it's not even, it's just a tool. And it's not even paper anymore. It's just ones and zeros.
Numbers, yeah, it's like not real.
It's not even real. Like, it's okay, to want money. Because the more passive income I have, the more I can sit on the mountaintop and meditate. The more I can, retreat from the world, the more I can choose what I do with my time.
Mm-hmm. It gives you freedom.
Yes. And some money enslaves you, depending on what kind of money it is. Some money can be enslaving money, where it's you've sold all your time, you're stressed the heck out, but you make good money. So be specific. I said I want to be free. I want to be rich, free in me. I want to be free. I want to be. If a person calls me and say, "Will you do this?" I want to be able to say no, and not feel any kind of way about it. Not feel like my livelihood is going to be threatened because of it.
Yeah.
I want to be free, and manifesting is real. Everything, I mean, just look around. Everything that we have comes from somebody's brain. The
Mm-hmm.
shirt, the
Mm-hmm.
phone, the house, this was all somebody's mind. Now we got AI, and that's even more evidence that manifestation is real. You just tell an AI system what's on your mind, and it says, okay, here you go. you know,
Mm-hmm.
thoughts become things even faster now. And
That's true.
but we also have to give ourselves permission to have it, and most importantly, we also have to give ourselves permission to become what I call become the life we want to experience. If
Yeah.
and a lot of us have a lot of trauma around different subjects. For me, it was love and money.
Mm.
You know, I never thought I was the most attractive person. Never thought I was. I thought that I was, I always had I didn't think I was ugly, but I never thought that I had anything special about myself, and especially because I have the scar on my face.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
until I started loving I learned how to love myself, and I found beauty in myself, and I found that I didn't have to just settle for who wanted me. I've done that so many times in my life. Like I would just gravitate towards the woman that showed me that she was interested. Like, not let me choose what I want, let me just choose who wants me. And it took me a long time to get to that point where I said, you know what? I I don't give a damn how I look. Like, I love myself. I hang out with myself all day long, and if I had to choose, this is the kind of person I would like to spend my time with. And so it's taken a long time to get there. And so love and money, and then also working on the money for me was a big thing as well. The money belief was so deep seated that I stopped calling it money for a long time in order to reprogram my brain. At the time back then I started saying digits, or I would say, I would look at it as a game and say that today I'm going to try to put 100 points on the board. That means that today I'm going to try to make $100. I'm going to put 100 points on the board today. I'm going to put 50 points on the board today. And then I started really understanding that money is nothing but just a scoreboard. It's just, and so then I brought money back into the equation and started using the word money and got my money up, and that was huge for me, very huge. And I think it'll be huge for a lot of people. And now it's easier than ever to make money. We can make money without lifting a finger easily. If you got eyeballs, you got money. Because money only comes from one place, it comes from other people.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can get in front of other people, we can always get some money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because people go to people's houses, come to my house, look at the shit that I spent money on. Like, people will spend money on things they value. All we got to do is figure out, what do they value.
Mm-hmm.
What do they value? Look around, look on their Facebook. If you really want to know how to market, it's easy. Go to Facebook and look at the stuff people are posting every day. Look at the stuff they're wearing every day. Look at the trips they're going on. Just look around at how, oh, this person, okay, you drive a Bentley, okay, cool. So you value high luxury items. So you value things that just the average person can't have access to. All right, so I know how to market to you. My services for you is going to be $20,000. Why? Because you value things that everybody can't afford, and everybody can't afford that price. So you just have to know the psychology of what causes people to buy. Other people, you go to their house and their stuff is filled with stuff from Dollar Tree. So you know they value cheap things. So you offer them things that they like at a cheap price. And that's marketing in a nutshell. Everything else or that's money making in a nutshell. Everything else is just you getting out of your own way. And for me, being a conscious capitalist has been one of the most spiritual things in the world, because you're trying to solve problems for other people. And that means that for a moment I have to suspend my own self for a moment to say, what does this person need?
Yeah.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to develop a system as fast as humanly possible so that I can get back to my world. So I'm going to solve the problem for you. I'm going to systemize it. I'm going to put people in place for me to run it for me. And then I'm going to go back into hermit mode, you know. But money is very simple. There are people that value different things. You just got to figure out what they value. For me, I valued many years ago, what I valued is different than what I valued now. I valued many years ago, I valued a bottle of dark liquor and some Black and Milds. And if you bought me that, I would give you money for it back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Today, I value peace. There ain't enough money on the face of the earth that can say, hey, Robbie, would you be willing to trade your peace for this money? No. I will take the money, but I'm going to keep my peace. Um, I value eating healthier. Every single day, I'm making conscious choices to eat healthier.
Mhm.
I value good connections, which is why I wanted to connect with an individual like you. Shouts out to Nick Mershon. I watched the interview that you did with him, and then he naturally said, "Man, you need to meet Jessica." So I value good connections because I know how rare it is to find people on this journey that you resonate with.
It's very rare.
Very rare. No matter, I thought that if I moved to a bigger city, I'm like, I'll have bigger people, more people. No.
No, it's just a higher concentration of people to weed through.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, that's so it's just about like, what do you value? And what would you value if you believed you could have anything? And every day, I'm not saying I'm there. I'm not saying that I've figured out the biggest dream I could possibly. I'm still every day. I'm still stretching to the moon and back.
There's so many levels.
So many levels.
Like, it's insane.
It is so many levels.
There's
That's
so
another.
many levels. Like, every time I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Something happens. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, all right. I accept
exactly.
it, right?
And then, but people will say, well, you should be happy where you are. Then that shows you should. No, I am happy where I am, but I'm also excited to experience more. This is good, but what about great? This is awesome, but what about phenomenal? This is what about good? You know, if you ride around where you are, where I assume you are, in your city or in the city that I'm in, if you ride around now, you realize that, oh, there's different levels of wealth.
Yeah.
Like, even with financial wealth, you're like, oh, I thought I was doing good. That person's house looks like a mall, and it's not about having the biggest home, not for me, but I love it because when I see a person with luxury, big homes, and I'm like, wow, what thought process led to that manifestation?
Yeah.
What were you? And then in this a block away, you could find somebody living on the street. What thought process led to that manifestation?
Yeah.
It's levels. And one person without a car thinks they're bad off until they come across a person without legs. And the person with the bicycle thinks they're bad off until they come across a person that's walking, right? There's levels to it. And for me, I want to reach the highest level humanly possible for a guy like myself. on all. I want to be in love every day. Not just honeymoon phase. I want to find a way to, if I love myself, then I can love my partner more and more every single day. If I want to be as rich as I possibly can in all areas. I want to be as healthy. I want to age in reverse. I want to be as healthy as I possibly can. I want to eat the most delicious and nutritious foods as I possibly can every single day. I want to live heaven on earth every day. I don't want to wait until I'm not here. People got clear about who they wanted to be, because again, we're all acting. Like, we just forgot that we're acting.
Yeah.
We're all acting. This
Yeah.
is a play. This life is a movie.
It is.
This is a stage. This home that I'm in is just a stage.
Yes.
This is a costume that I'm wearing. I could choose to talk like this, or I could choose to talk like this.
Yeah.
I could choose to dress like this or dress like that. We're all acting, and it's just the way that whatever we've practiced acting as over and over again, that's who we think we really are.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had amnesia, you wouldn't know who you were.
No. No.
You would not know who you were.
Yeah.
And that's what I always remind myself of.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think a lot of people would be able to figure out who they are once they give themselves the space to become a hermit and
Yes.
not be on social media, don't watch anything, don't listen to music, don't listen to anything.
Anything. No TV.
Nothing.
Exactly.
And it's just yourself.
Exactly. Can you do that?
Then you'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's why I'm in and out, because like I'm in the matrix, and I'm like, I gotta disappear. I'm the guy that's in a room. I'll be in a boardroom, and you don't got to tell me the meeting's over. The meeting's over when I feel it energetically. Just ease out, and then I'm gone. They're like, dude, where did you go? Where did
You're not supposed to. You're supposed, like, because I live in Fort Lauderdale, so like you got to say bye to everybody.
I'm just gone.
Slip away.
Exactly. I'm just out. I've been a master at that. This is how, because if you announce, think about this. This is how I feel about announcing to people that you're leaving. Now, some people, family, I'm always say, I'll see y'all later. I'll see you later. Talk to you soon. Bye. Whatever. Right? That's family. And I'm gonna let them know, hey, I'm about to go here. Right? I'm leaving here and I'm going to this destination. But in a room full of strangers, like, I'm not gonna tell you when I'm leaving, because what if you don't want me to leave right now? And I really want to leave, but you strike up a whole nother conversation with me that just makes me feel like I gotta sit there. I don't know. I'm leaving right now. I got all the information I needed, and I'm out. Second of all, and this is my street side that's still there. I call it my eighth sense. We had to move strategically in the streets. Like, not everybody is your friend, right? So why would I announce to a group of people that I'm about to go so you can watch me get in a car, have my car? Now you know what I drive. You know what I mean? Like, I think like that, right? I think so far down the rabbit hole. I'm not paranoid, but I think, like, I know I used to be naive and think that everybody had my best intentions at heart. But now I know better. I know that not everybody, even if they don't mean it, not everybody, it's not good to let everybody know everything. Even in something as simple as I'm about to leave. I'm just gone. And then it makes your presence more appreciated when you ever notice that the thing that's readily available, people value the least.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that they can't really grab and hold on to is the thing that they value the most.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the ghost that they value the most, because, boy, to get him on the phone is a miracle. To get him in the boardroom is even more of a miracle. And to see him again after you saw him once is also a miracle. So for me, I'm always just in and out of realities, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just it like you said. I'm glad you said that because most people don't know that sitting with themselves, turning off social media, not listening to anything, you will find out who you really are.
It's literally what I did.
Yeah.
Like when I said the mindset stuff last year, I mean, so I'm a Libra, so I think I go
Awesome.
to extremes,
That's good.
So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this cycle because I journal. I've always journaled ever
Yeah.
since I was a kid. And I'm like, I'm in a cycle. Something went off my head where I acknowledged I was in a cycle. And I was like, I'm tired of this.
Time to break free.
Tired of this cycle.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
Yes.
Extremes.
Yes.
Like extremes.
Yes.
And like our lives shifted like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Made that choice.
Like I had the luxury of not needing to work.
Yes.
Like this. Where
Yes.
before we needed both of our income.
Yes. Yes.
Things
Yes.
shifted for my husband like this.
Yes. Yes.
So I was afforded the luxury to be able to work on myself.
Yes.
Where like if you asked me 2 years ago, like quit my job, no, I need to work.
Right.
I need to bring in money.
Right.
Well, now I'm working and doing stuff and building my business because I want to.
Yes.
Because I want to see like how can I develop Jessica in ways I didn't think I need to develop in before.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And all from cutting everything off. And I'm like, I need to love myself.
Yes.
I need to, when you're talking about quantum physics,
Mm-hmm.
I was observing everybody else's life. I was pouring in energy in everybody else's life, but I wasn't observing and pouring energy into my life.
Exactly. And then did you go through the phase of what people thought you were wrong for pulling back or like?
I think I'm still going through it.
Yeah.
They probably do think I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like I'm kind of used to like if I decide to do something for myself, I'm like used to those like repercussions.
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
Right.
I got primed for that when I was a kid.
Gotcha.
So yeah, most likely, but they haven't told it to me because they probably know I won't care.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that because I went through that. I went through survivor's guilt, or survivor's remorse, as they call it, where felt guilty about making money. I would give it away, just give it away. Just call somebody right now and just give it to them,
Yeah.
I went through that. And then I was like, hold up. I really had to see. I'm one of those guys that have to see the pattern multiple times for me to be like, oh, there's a pattern here, like you just said. And I noticed that some people would I'm like, I had this one friend that we both started off kind of poor, and when when this person became successful, I was the biggest fan. Like, you could do anything. When I started to become successful, crickets. And then I would be on the phone with this person, and if we were talking about just like something negative or just something random, it was just nothing but conversation. The moment I said anything good about what I had going on, crickets. And so I had to see that pattern over and over again for me to say, this person they don't want to hear me talk about my good stuff, And that's cool. I'm not mad, but I can't talk. I'm not talking to you no more. Like if I can't talk about good things, I'm not talking to you. And then there would be other people that would only reach out to me if they needed something, some information, money, advice. And then once I gave them the information, money, or advice, you didn't hear from them anymore until they needed it again. And I'm like, oh yeah, I don't feel guilty about having my phone on do not disturb for you.
Yeah.
All you want is information. All you want is to gossip or money or whatever. So that's what it took for me to get to that point. And nobody was calling me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I went through a divorce recently,
Oh,
and and I had people that could tell me, they could tell me anything. They could tell me, Robbie, I was with three men at once last week. And I would be like, oh wow, that's, all right, cool. Um, and I'm not saying somebody's ever told me this, but meaning they could tell me anything without judgment.
mhm.
Okay. And one of these people, when I told them my story of why I was choosing I was making that choice for myself, I was met with so much judgment. And I'm like,
Interesting.
and I'm like, do you know what you just went through? That I never judged? That I never judged. But you're gonna judge me because I know how I want to be loved?
Mm,
Because I'm choosing something different? Because
yeah.
I'm making a choice for myself?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so those people, I love you, but we're not gonna talk because it's breaking my rule. You don't meditate, so you don't do the inner work, and because you don't do the inner work, you don't understand what I'm talking about when I call and tell you that, hey, although my marriage has been good, I am getting a divorce.
Yeah.
You
No, I
don't
get
know
it. I
because
get it.
right. So like and there's nothing to demonize my ex partner about. Phenomenal, phenomenal individual. But for me, I sat with myself and it's had everything to do with me and not her.
Yeah.
So it's not to demonize her because she was phenomenal. But
Yeah.
when I sat with myself again, let me take everybody else out of the equation and let me ask myself, Robbie, what does Robbie want? Because the world tries to convince you that you should be the last person you think about.
Yeah.
Think about this person, that person, that person, that person. Don't think about yourself now you being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And so for everything in my life, I've been that way, where to get here, I've had to do a lot of deep diving and make difficult choices and uh, make choices that I always say I had to disappoint a lot of people to get here. Um, there was people that would not, if they could choose my life's path, they wouldn't have chose what I've chosen. And but what they would have chose for me, I never would have chose for myself at this level of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy. I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. And I'm a happy guy. I've been happy over the last, since 2011. I've been a very happy man. But I'm super happy at this point in my life because I'm realizing that, and at the end of the day, this is my life.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? This is my
Yep.
life. This ain't your
Yep.
life. It's mine. You go clone me, and if you want to control somebody that look like me, go clone me then, or whatever. But because I'm gonna
Yeah.
live my life, and that's all I'm
Yeah.
here to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people are afraid of that. A lot of people are
It's
afraid of.
disruptive.
It is disruptive. It's
Very
not.
disruptive.
It's not convenient for
No.
anybody.
Mm-mm.
But for me, it's inconvenient for me to feel like I'm not living in harmony with the call of my own soul. I gotta be me. I gotta be who I am. I cannot be anything other than that. And I won't sacrifice myself for anybody
Yeah.
because I don't expect you to sacrifice yourself for me. Be who you are. And maybe I'll love it or maybe I won't. But just
And
be,
that's okay.
that's okay, right? And again, all of this is make believe. This is we this is the thing about when I talk about manifesting, people are like, "Well, you got to be realistic." And I'm like,
What
"Really?
is
What is
realistic?
realistic,
Like,
bro?" I
what
start
is realistic?
I thought you started off as a squiggly wiggly sperm cell. Oh, I did, but well, I thought you grew inside of another person. Is that realistic? Because that's pretty wild to me, that a human can grow inside of another human being, right?
Hmm.
We're on a ball, supposedly. I've never been that far up, but we're supposedly on a ball hurling through the universe at rapid speeds. Nobody really even knows how or why we're here. And you want me to be realistic?
Yeah, like
What are you talking about?
yeah, like yeah, there is no definition of realistic. Like, I think the other thing I like to think about is, you have Elon Musk just shooting rockets into space because he felt like it. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like,
right.
what's realistic?
And I even found that and I love that. He's like somebody I really look up to as far as like pushing the limits of human possibility. But even I heard him the other day. He was like, "There's no, there are no aliens out there," And I'm like, even he has limits on what he's willing to believe is true. And I thought that was funny. He's like, I have 600 uh whatever you call it, satellites out there in space. If there was aliens, I would have seen them by now. And I resonate. I understand what he's saying with that. But it's everybody has their limits of where they're willing to go. And for me, I'm just trying to make sure those limits are not defined by fear.
Yes.
I don't want if there's walls, I don't want these walls to be defined by fear.
Hmm.
I can't live by fear. Fear of what happens if I never find anybody else that loves me? What happens if I never find another job? What happens if what if, and that fear is what keeps people stuck in what I call the institution of obligation. The
Yeah.
fear is what keeps people stuck in those what they call generational curses.
Yeah.
That's fear. It's fear. A curse is nothing more than fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fear. And because you are fearful, you are radiating that energy, and you attract these circumstances into your reality that are in harmony with the fear that you're radiating, but you think that somebody got a curse on you, but really it's just you radiating fear.
Yeah. Yeah. Because once you get rid of that fear, none of that stuff, you don't even see that stuff.
You don't even see it.
Like, that type of situation doesn't even occur.
Exactly.
Like, there's so many times I had conversations with people and they tell me the craziest stuff that I'm like, oh, really? Oh, hmm. Oh, wow, that's that. I'm like, that never happens to me. Like, oh, wow, okay. Like,
Exactly. Well, I was in an interracial relationship, and one of the things people would say to me are, "Mm, um, how many racist people you come across?" I'm like, I never come across any, not to my knowledge. Like, if people are looking at us, they might be saying, "Oh, that's a beautiful couple." That's what I'm saying in my mind. But it's like when you're vibrating at a certain level, when you're vibrating at a certain level, there's certain things you just don't see.
yeah,
You just
yeah. Literally, yeah. Like, I'll give a tiny example. There's a tiny example, right? So I was visiting my girlfriend in LA,
yeah.
and she had like some type of weird interaction with some girl in her building. And so we go into the elevator, and then we go out the lobby and go into her car. She was like, "Did you see the girl? She was in the elevator." I'm like, "She was?" I didn't even
Didn't even
see
see her.
her. She was
Exactly.
invisible to me. I did not acknowledge.
Exactly. Right.
I literally didn't even see her. Like, it
Right.
was crazy.
Right. I've been with people too like that. You saw the way they were looking at us. I'm like, nope, did not even see it. Didn't even see that. Did not even register.
Mm-hmm.
But we see what we're looking for.
Uh,
If I've allowed the world, right now, if I allow the world to tell me that the world is going to hell in a handbasket, when I walk out my house, I'll see evidence of that everywhere. But if I don't believe in that in the first place, life is airy fairy. Everything is ticking well. The grass is green. The economy is
right?
thriving.
The trees are radiating. You're getting
Every
so much business.
right, like it's literally, if I could really get people to understand that it's the game is choose your reality. and don't let
Yeah.
anybody talk you out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Choose
Mm-hmm.
your reality, because that's what, like you said, once you made that decision, everything shifted drastically. Once I made a decision, for better or worse, it shifted. When I made a decision to be a street kid, street people just showed up out of nowhere. Like, hey, I'm willing to gang bang with you. I'm willing to be in a gang with you. I'm willing to be your op. I'm willing to be your enemy, you know. But then when I shifted, I'm in the same city that I was in the same, then I was in the same city that I was in when I was running the streets. As soon as I shifted my mentality, is like a whole new group of people emerged out of nowhere. People that were willing to help me, people that were more positive, people that didn't want to kill me because I had on the wrong color, or, it's like this is the same city. But my perception changed, and when my perception changed, reality changed. And I think people don't realize that perception really is reality.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. I didn't go get surgery or anything, but I had plastic surgery right after the car accident, but I didn't go get any cosmetic surgery to make me start thinking that, all right, I might be handsome. Right? I just shifted. I just started loving myself. One day I looked in the mirror like, you're not that bad. You're not that bad, Robbie.
Yeah.
Same bald head, same everything, but I shifted my perception of myself, and everything shifted.
Yeah. Yeah. That's incredible. Oh my God. I love this podcast so much. Like,
I
and
love it too.
funny, even with this podcast is I'm coming across more and more people that are on a spiritual journey, but they're in business as well. Like,
Yes.
so it's really interesting the type of people I'm attracting on here, because it's like reflected my journey and why I even started this podcast to begin with. So like this has been amazing.
Thank
And
you.
so to wrap up, what
Yes.
would be your top 3 to 5 tips for people who know that they need a change in their life, but don't know where to start?
Ask yourself, do you have a brain sitting inside of your head? And if the answer is yes, ask yourself then, have I been consciously commanding my brain to think a certain way? And if the answer is no, start talking to your brain. Talk to your brain as if it's your best friend, as if it's your God, as if it's your servant. Tell your brain what you want it to do. Like, talk to it. Like, close your eyes, see your brain sitting inside of your head, and tell your brain, say, brain, I want to build a great life together. And I would love it if you started to think better about me and the world around me. In fact, I'm not asking I'm commanding you to think better about me and the world around me. And I'm also commanding you to reveal to me all of the opportunities around me every single day that will allow me to live my best life. Just start talking to your brain. And then once you do that, once you get over how weird that is, start talking to your heart. Place your hand over your heart and start talking to your heart and say the same thing. Heart, I would love to develop a better relationship with you. I would love to forgive all the people, places, and things that I felt like have done me wrong in the past. Release them instantly, release them right now, and fill yourself up with the essence of love and allow me to automatically radiate good vibrations everywhere I go. Make good vibrations my dominant state of being.